Hi, good day, sir. This is our ERP programming project. We are from Group 10, Team Leader Alvin Liu, me Lim Hui Ying, and Tan Kai Tian. Our project is about using Odoo ERP for a small apparel company called In and Cloth Manufacturing, Sdn Bhd. So we will quickly walk through about this company, the problem they had, and how our setup ties sales, inventory, production, and accounting together. Here is a quick intro to the company. So this company is a Malaysia-based OEM and ODM maker of polo tee, t-shirt, and hoodies in multiple colors. So today they still run on basic Excel, which causes the duplicate data, color and size stock mismatch, manual planning, unclear unit costs, and slow order to cash and month end. So our plan is to adopt Odoo ERP to put sales, purchasing, inventory, MRP, payroll, and accounting into one system with share the master data. Each step will pause automatically so the reports stay accurate.
Hi, this is Kaitian. So I'm going to continue for the project scope. So first, we are moving to sales and distribution. So as we know that customers is always the core of any businesses. So without customer, we have no sales. When we have no sales, then we don't have any income. So most of the company are using modules provided by ERP system. So Odoo is one of the example software or ERP. So to manage the customer relationship and sales. So for customer relationship management, we have a pipeline interface or a tab. So in this tab, we can monitor the potential customers, which also known as leads. We can know the status, whether the potential customer is under new created, qualified proposition, or even won or lost the leads. So this interface is in Kanban view that visualize all the pipeline status. So it's also user friendly that we can drag and drop features to update the status. So for the sales team, it's easy to monitor, to create, update, or to monitor all the status of the potential customer within this interface. Like you can see from the left, there's a new button, so we can create and then we can update the status accordingly, even by just drag to the column accordingly. Next, we have a quotations in our sales module. So Odoo ERP software provide a quotation interface or tab, so it's easily manage the quotation in a list view. And then we have only a few simple steps to create or update quotation in this tab or interface. And also there's a function provided by the Odoo software that we can auto-generate the sales order from a confirmed quotation. So as you can see on the below screenshot that a few detailed information listed in a structured way like the quotation ID, customer, expiration date, price list, and payment terms. Or even we can see that there's a product list inside this quotation and all the quantities for each of the product and the amount, the price list, unit price list, and also the taxes that we charge to them in this quotation, everything in this quotation. And also, as I mentioned, the price list is actually linked to the dynamic pricing rules that I will also giving a brief later. So after the quotation, of course, we are moving on to the sales orders once the quotation confirmed. So as I mentioned in the last slide, that quotation, if we confirm by the user or sales team, and then it can auto-generate a sales order in this sales order list. Of course, we can also manually create a sales order, but then we have to update all the status accordingly. So like I mentioned, the sales order is linked to a quotation, and then we can view all the summary or necessary information listed in this main view. So like sales number, order date, customer, salesperson, total, and also even the invoice status, like the status can be to invoice or is already fully invoiced. So the sales team or even the account team, they can manage or monitor all the status right here. And then we have an invoice function. So the invoice can be generated automatically once the sales order is being processed, or we can say the sales order is completed. And then we have a function here to send the invoice directly to the customers through email. So this can allow a quick acknowledgement to the customers for the payment details, as well as we have a simple internal system tracker by just clicking one button in the interface. So as you can see on the screenshot, so we have the customer invoice, a number, and then all the details of the product as well. And then we also have some journal information that will be mentioned by my team member Hui Ying later on during her part's presentation. Now we move on to one of the most important part in the sales module, which is dynamic pricing rules. So what is dynamic pricing rules? Is actually a great strategy to control the product sales price. Second, one of the purpose is to keep margin consistent despite of the cost fluctuation. And last but not least, to reduce manual job to update the product sales price. So why is this? As you can see on the screenshot from the Odoo software, I have created one of the pricing rules called 10% rules, or even we can name it a better or easier understanding rules name. So in these rules, I have created to apply to all products you can see on right bottom screenshots. And then the price type, we will set to a formula. So the formula will base on the cost, and then markup we set to 10%. So the formula will be like, if the cost of the product is 100 ringgit Malaysia, and then the sales price must be times 1.1, which is 110% including the markup. So it will be the price of the product that we sell to the customer, because this will be easy to manage all the product sales price whenever there's a cost changes, especially in this manufacturing and we are doing the apparel, like clothes, and the cost of the raw materials is volatile. So this is a great strategy tools for us, for the sales teams, to manage and monitor their sales price accordingly. So now back to me, Kaitian. I'll continue for the manufacturing modules. So manufacturing is also can be referred as material resource planning (MRP). So it actually used to manage the entire production process. So these tools is to support efficiency planning from raw material supply and up until to the finished good production. So some of the features or module that provided in this manufacturing have bill of material BOM, operations routing, work orders, manufacturer orders MO, and also scheduling, which is the master production scheduling. Now let's talk about the bill of material BOM. This is a very important part, especially in the manufacturing. So what is BOM? BOM is actually a receipt, or we can call it as a list of components needed to produce a finished good product. So it's used to control raw material consumption and also operations process. Another thing is to automating the inventory consumption based on the production that run and complete, and then it will automatically consume all the inventory needed from the product. And last, each product must have BOM to run the production. So as you can see on the screen that we have a screenshot of the product name black hoodie. So in this black hoodie, first we can see on the tab components, which shows all the raw materials that needed to build or to produce the black hoodie. So we have a hoodie cotton fabric, we have sewing threads, we have zipper, and then we also have packaging. And then on the right side you can see all the quantity and units for each of the components needed. And then second, if we look down, we have another screenshot which showing the operations needed to produce this black hoodie. So first we need cutting, then we need sewing, and finally we need to have the finishing process. So this is the BOM to control how a product will be produced and how many or how much the raw material needed to produce this product. And then we have a work centers modules. So what is work centers? It's actually to create different work centers for different process or purpose. As I mentioned in the last slide, bill of materials, the BOM, we have declared operation process for each of the product. So this is where we create the work centers for each of the process to define as one of the process and to monitor each of the work status running in each centers. So as you can see on the below screenshot, we have many work orders that are running in different status. So we have columns operation to show the process like cutting, sewing, and then we have work centers which is also named cutting sewing, and then we have products that are running for the process, and then we have quantity, we have expected duration to complete the process, and then we also have a real duration to running to monitor the work order status. So at the last column we can see the status of the work order, whether it's completed, to do, or it should be completed. So here we have manufacturer orders, MO. So manufacturer order is actually to monitor the overall production process. So in here we can actually have an order which is called MO, manufacturing orders. Then we have some of the details information to be monitored like reference number or ID, and then when the start date, what's the product, and the reason, activity, the source, component status, quantity, unit, and also the state of the MO. So if we click into the details of one of the MO, then we can see that the component is status inside it. Then we can see what is the product, quantity, and the BOM needed for it. Then when is the start date, the component status, responsible as well. So we can check all the details here, and if we click on the work order tabs, we can see all the work orders that link to this MO, so we can know the detailed status of where and how long that this MO need to be completed. So last, I'm going to talk for the manufacturing module is the master production schedule, MPS. So this tools is help in production planning and analysis, and then it's actually focused on forecasting future production quantities based on demand or sales forecast or even the stock levels. So as you can see on the screenshot, we actually have these features to run by week, and then how we manage it, we just add in any of the product, and then it will display as each of the raw material needed. And then if the raw material is not enough to forecast the from based on the sales order that we confirm, so it will let us know which raw material needs to be pulled in to purchase from the vendors, and then how long we need. So this is a great list that we can manage and to review to have a better production planning for weeks or even months.